Oh, welcome everybody back into Squabo 66. I told you I would be seeing you next week. It's next week. It's time to get into it. 6 best bets for this week. We're going through it. We're talking about those prime time matchups in the NFL. And then we're also going to talk about just some of the better matchups, including that Seahawks game. Let's get into it. First matchup I want to talk about. Minnesota at home for Thursday Night Football. 16-point favorite against Washington. Washington this last weekend played a very close game with San Francisco. I watched that whole game. Adrian Peterson had a pretty effective game on the ground, unable to get into the end zone. They didn't even score in that game, but it was very low scoring all game. Very defensive. It was muddy. It was a slugfest. I think it's going to be a little bit similar to that in the fact that I think it's going to be a defensive battle this week when they play at Minnesota. I think Minnesota's been playing some really good football, and there's a chance that they could swallow this 16-point spread. But I think 16 is just a little bit too much. It's a short week. I'd say Minnesota wins this ball game, but I'm taking Washington against the spread here. 27-14, Minnesota takes it. The next matchup I want to talk about is Seattle. Those Seattle Seahawks, baby. 6.5 point favorites are the Seahawks heading into Atlanta this week. We just saw them get demolished. The Falcons by the Rams on their home field. Now Seattle wants to go down there and do the same thing. Matt Ryan, not sure if he's going to play this week. Regardless, I think Julio, hopefully he'll have a good week because I have him on fantasy. But everyone else on that team, I don't think it's going to be a very effective week for Atlanta. I think, unfortunately, Dan Quinn might be on the way out, and unfortunately for him, Seattle might be the reason why, because this week I think we're going to win a solid ball game. I'm swallowing the points here, 28-13. I think we win by 15 points, potentially against Matt Schaub. The next matchup I want to talk about, Buffalo at home versus Philadelphia. Buffalo is a 1.5 point favorite in this game. This is going to be a good one. There is no way in my mind that I believe Philadelphia is going to go down this season not swing. I think they're going to give it everything they have in this specific game at Buffalo. It's so important to them. They just fell 2 games back in the division if you count the fact that they don't have the tiebreaker anymore. And now Dallas looks so good on Sunday Night Football. They have to earn their pride back. They have a lot to prove in this ball game. I think Philadelphia proves it. I think it's going to be a close ball game, though, because I really like Buffalo. Defensively, they're going to bring some problems, especially with the way that Cowboys pass rush was getting through to Carson Wentz. I definitely think that Buffalo pass rush is going to get through to him a couple times. But I think Carson Wentz is going to prevail in this game. They were battle-tested on the road on Thursday Night Football at Green Bay earlier in the season. It felt like it was a really important game for them. They took care of business, and I think that they're going to take care of business on this Sunday. I think it's going to be a very close game, but they're going to pull away 26-25. I'm going away from the points here, and I'm taking Philadelphia. The next matchup I want to talk about, San Francisco at home versus Carolina. This is exciting. Cam probably won't play in this game unless Kyle Allen starts, giving us a reason to put Cam back on that field. I think this is going to be down to the wire. I sure hope so anyways. Christian McCaffrey has had an outstanding season, definitely in the MVP conversation, especially with the performance Russell Wilson had last week, unfortunately. But I think this game is going to come down to who's going to make more plays. Is it going to be Jimmy Garoppolo or is it going to be Kyle Allen? And in that matchup, I'm going to take Jimmy Garoppolo. I think the point spread is too much because I think Carolina's a really good team. They're going to be up for this game. They've been underrated all season long, and I almost didn't bring this up, but this is a matchup between 2 undefeated quarterbacks this season. Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't lost a game, and ever since coming on the field, Kyle Allen hasn't lost a game. So right now, we're going to figure out who's going to be able to maintain their undefeated status. It's at San Francisco. I think they're too much of a favorite in this game. I think it's going to be close, but I've already lost enough bets picking against San Francisco, so I'm taking San Francisco in this game, 26-23, but I'm taking Carolina against the points. It's too much of a spread. The next matchup that I want to talk about, Green Bay at Kansas City. Honestly, right now, Kansas City's defense can't stop a nosebleed, and that is the problem. They're unable to prevent even the simpler offenses from doing anything. They did a nice job against Denver last week, but Joe Flacco, Philip Lindsay, like that's what you're throwing at me? I'm okay with that. Philip Lindsay is not a bell cow back. He has a couple breakout runs, but he's not going to carry the load throughout the whole game. He's not Ezekiel Elliott. He's not a Todd Gurley. And Joe Flacco, he didn't even get he wasn't even wanted by the team that he won a Super Bowl with. He's definitely on the way out. So I think that Kansas City defense is going to regress this week, especially when you talk about who he's playing against with that bad man himself, Aaron Rodgers on the other side of things. Aaron Jones going to be there. 6 total touchdowns last Sunday for Aaron Rodgers. I think he has another pretty big week. I think they're going to win this game in a blowout. They're a 4.5-point favorite. The Packers are to win this game on the road. I think it's bigger than that. I'm taking the Packers, and I'm swallowing the points. 34-17, Green Bay. Monday Night Football. This is one of those matchups where you never know. And that's because it's at Pittsburgh, but it's Miami coming to town. In Miami last week, the guys gave me a lot of crap on the show. Saturdays 10-1 the Bull to tune in on 89.9 KGRG or the KGRG app. The guys gave me a lot of crap on the show because I said Miami was going to they were going to show something against Buffalo. They thought it was going to be like 38-3. Well, Miami showed something against Buffalo. It ended up being like a 2-possession ball game when it was all said and done. But it was a close ball game, and Buffalo trailed for a lot of time in that game. So right now, I look at this game at Pittsburgh. Miami's visiting. Pittsburgh is a 14.5-point favorite. That is way too many points. I think this could end up in a blowout, but if it does, it'll be a late blowout. I think it'll be a fight throughout the ball game. I think Pittsburgh pulls away in the end, but I'm taking Miami against the points. And my final score for this game, 24-10, Pittsburgh, half point away from that spread. I made that score before I saw the spread, so it's genuine. I really feel like it's going to be down to the wire. It could go either way with how Pittsburgh pulls away in the end, especially because their strength is the running game, and when they know that those pass rushers aren't able to come after them because they're ahead of the sticks and because they're winning in the ball game, they just want to kill the clock. They don't want to have Mason Rudolph go win a football game for them, so they're just going to hand that football off, and they got James Conner back there, so I think that's going to play to their favor. I think in the end they pull away, like I said, 24-10. Thank you for tuning in. Tune in every single week for more and more content. Follow at DJ Squabo on Instagram, Snapchat. Follow at DJ Squabo on Instagram and Snapchat. We're going to be bringing you more content this Saturday. The next video coming up is going to be, well, I lost a bet. Last week I bet my old football coach that I would do 30 push-ups live on air if the Seahawks lost to the Ravens last Sunday, and they lost. So during the show Saturday live, remember KGRG app in the App Store, in the Play Store. Tune in because I'm going to do 30 push-ups live on air. We're going to record it and throw it on YouTube. Tune in every week. We're going to win you guys some money. Thanks for watching. Tune in every week.